And so we return and begin again. Good evening, my friends, and welcome to a brand new season of Terror Radio Podcast. If this is your first time joining me, then welcome. This is a podcast dedicated in bringing you the best of horror and thriller old-time radio broadcasts, as well as original stories. I am your host, Keith, aka the radio show nerd, and I have missed you guys, but I am back. Oh, by the way, I did receive a few emails stating that even though I speak about original narrations, I performed none last season, which is true, but never fret. I will be performing several original stories and hopefully a few original audio plays. So, without further ado, this is Terror Radio. Tonight's episode is entitled Sister, Dearest. And we will be enjoying 2 episodes of Suspense. Our first radio play is entitled The Sisters, and it stars our favorite First Lady of Suspense, Agnes Moorehead. And this was first broadcasted on February 3rd, 1944. Following that is the radio play The 10 Years. And this stars the Grande Dame, Joan Crawford. And this was first broadcasted on June 2nd, 1949. So, you all know the drill. Sit back, turn down the lights, and listen to The Sisters, followed by The 10 Years. Oh, side note, The 10 Years sound quality goes up and down, so that's my warning, if you will. Enjoy.
Roma Wine presents Suspense. Roma Wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. Salud! Your health, senor. Roma Wines toast the world. The wine for your table is Roma Wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is the Man in Black, here to all Suspense. Tonight, as stars, we bring you 2 of Hollywood's outstanding actresses, Miss Ida Lupino and Miss Agnes Moorehead. But before we raise the curtain on this evening's play, The Sisters, here is a message from your host, the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California.
You remember the old saying, the grass is always greener in the other fellow's yard? You might agree with the truth of that statement if you happen to overhear a conversation that might easily be taking place at this moment in the smart and festive Club Montmartre in Havana, Cuba. An American has just complimented his Cuban friend on the fine quality of Havana tobacco. Graciously, the Cuban replies, "But you of the United States need have no envy of us. Nature has made a great gift of perfection to your country, too. The magnificent wine which we also enjoy. It is Roma wine, made in your own California." Friends, that little anecdote is typical of many countries where wine is truly enjoyed. For in other lands, Roma wines must be imported over long distances from our own California. A luxury to be enjoyed on special occasions, while lucky you can enjoy these superb Roma wines as a daily delight, with no import duty, no expensive shipping charges added to your cost for Roma wine. Whichever one of Roma wine's many types your own taste test names as favorite, you'll agree here is truly superb wine that could come only from truly choice wine districts. And you'll say, no wonder Roma wines are America's largest selling wines. I'll spell out the name for you. R-O-M-A, Roma wines. Made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
And now with the remarkable tale of the sisters, and with the performances of Ida Lupino as Lydia Haskell and Agnes Moorehead as Ellie, Roma Wines again hope to keep you in suspense.
I think would be very lovely. It has a far superior lining, the pure silk, but much heavier than the others that we've looked at. Do you care for this one, Miss Haskell?
Yes, that's very nice. But I believe I'd like to see something, perhaps even a little better.
Of course. Now, if you just step over this way, Miss Haskell. Now, here is an exquisite casket. Something that really does honor to the departed.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Now, the interior is just the same as the last, but the casket itself is of bronze, solid bronze.
Won't that be rather heavy?
Yes, but not too heavy. Will there be 6 pallbearers?
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter, really. The 4 men can carry this very easily. Very. Miss Haskell, I want you to notice the floral design here. All hand-wrought, every bit of it. And, notice the seams in this casket. Airtight and watertight, guaranteed. You know, of course, how important that is.
Oh, yes.
Yes. But this casket, in 100 years, or even 200 years, will be just as strong and will look just as beautiful as it does on this stand today. You couldn't buy a finer piece of workmanship.
How much is this one, please?
This casket? A duravo, by the way. Duravo for durability, we say in the trade. This casket is priced at, let me see, $775. But we can't bring back the deposit. No, our only solace is the knowledge that we've done in the last possible honor.
Very well. I'll take this one.
Well, I'm sure you're making a very wise choice. In all my years as a mortician, I've never found a family that regretted money spent on a duravo. And now, let me see.
I'll give you a check.
Oh, that won't be necessary. Not immediately. After the funeral will do. Oh, by the way, we haven't mentioned it. Are we handling the funeral arrangement?
I really don't know yet.
Oh, well, you want the casket delivered somewhere?
No. I'd like you to hold it for a while, please.
Hold it? But, for how long?
For 3 weeks.
3 weeks? I don't understand. Who is the party, the deceased? Who is this casket for?
It's for me.
I heard you come in. Where have you been, Lydia? You've been gone all afternoon.
I've been shopping.
What did you buy? Did you get the ribbons I asked for?
No, I didn't have time.
Oh, I wanted some new ribbons. My others are all worn out. See, Lydia?
Ellie, I wish you'd stop putting ribbons in your hair like a schoolgirl. You're almost 40 years old.
I know, Lydia. I know.
Then try to act like it. Hand me my sewing and light the lamp. It's getting dark.
Oh, I wonder why we have to grow old. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we had always stayed young like we used to be? Oh, Lydia, remember when Mother used to send us to school with our ribbons matching and our dresses matching? And at the end of the day, no one would even guess we were sisters because I was always so mussed and you were always so clean. Oh, I wish we were young again, Lydia.
Stop talking nonsense, Ellie.
It is nonsense, isn't it? Oh, the doorbell rang while you were out just before you came home.
You didn't answer?
Oh, no, you told me never to answer it. I just looked out of the upstairs window.
Did you see who it was?
Oh, yes. Yes, it was a man. A rather big man. He rang a long time, and then he went away.
Well, he didn't see you, did he?
Oh, no. He said it so carefully from behind the curtain. Then I came down here and watched him going down the walk.
You came downstairs.
Yes,
I told you never to come down those stairs when I'm not in the house.
Well, it was all right, Lydia. I held on very tight to the banisters all the way, and I didn't once look down the stairwell, so I didn't get dizzy. And I didn't want to jump.
Well, don't do it again.
It was just that I was lonely. I didn't think you were ever coming home. Lydia, you didn't tell me what you bought.
Oh, a Duravo.
What's that? What's a Duravo?
Don't ask so many questions, Ellie.
All right. Lydia, I think I'll sew, too. I could fix up one of these old ribbons. May I, Lydia?
Yes, so it'll be good for you.
Thank you. Lydia?
Yes?
Lydia, could I go shopping someday?
Don't be a fool, Ellie.
I'm sorry. I just thought... No, I suppose you're right. It wouldn't do, not yet. There wasn't any mail today.
Wasn't there?
No, I thought perhaps there'd be a letter from David. It's been such a long time since he's written, hasn't it?
I haven't noticed.
Oh, yes. Yes, he used to write every week on Tuesday. And I get the letter on Tuesday. But there wasn't one this week or last or the week before that. Strange, isn't it? But perhaps he's been busy.
Perhaps.
Still, he never used to be too busy to write. I can't understand it. Do you suppose there's some other reason?
What are you trying to say, Ellie? Are you hinting that perhaps I'm keeping your mail from you?
Oh, no.
Well, you certainly seem to be. Why would I keep David's letters from
But
you?
I didn't say that. I just said it was strange that David hasn't written, that's all. You wouldn't keep David's letters. I know that, Lydia.
Go on with your sewing.
Yes. I want to finish this ribbon.
Stop singing that. Stop it.
But Lydia, it's a hymn. I've always sung it.
I don't care. I said stop. Or learn something else. It's all you sing, day and night, day and night. Same tune, over and over and over. Now stop it.
Lydia, sometimes you frighten me. The way you look at me, you make me think that perhaps I'm not getting well. That perhaps I'm still crazy. I'm not. I'm not still crazy. Am I, Lydia?
Yes?
Evening. Are you Miss Lydia Haskell?
Yes.
Well, can I speak to you for a minute? I was here this afternoon. There's no one home.
Well, what is it, please?
Well, we had a call from Doan Brothers, the undertakers. I'm from the police.
Oh, really? I don't see what the police could want with me. Come in if you wish.
Thanks.
Sit down.
Thank you. There's nothing we want, Miss Haskell, except it's sort of unusual for a woman to order a casket for herself.
Unusual? I've heard of many cases of that kind. People who are alone in the world have no one else to look after those things.
Sure, I know. Only it's a little more unusual when you can name the date. The undertaker said you wanted the casket held for 3 weeks. Why 3 weeks? Must be some reason for it.
Yes, there is. I'm going to die. I shall die in 3 weeks, or perhaps even before. There's no doubt of it in my mind, and that's why I ordered the casket. You may call it a premonition if you want.
Maybe I could call it suicide. Well, that's why I'm here, Miss Haskell. I don't know whether you know it, but suicide is a crime in the eyes of the state.
For which there's no punishment.
Not if it's successful, no. But there is prevention.
You see, I know I'm going to die. I feel it. But I have no intention of taking my own life. There's no need to do so.
Mm-hmm. Miss Haskell, this premonition, as you call it, have you any idea what brought it on?
No.
Have you been speaking to anyone? No fortune tellers or anything like that?
No.
Well, what makes you so sure? How do you know you can trust this premonition? You're not an old woman. I'd say you were in pretty good health. You've got a lot of good years ahead of you.
I have a religion. Not a church religion. Just one of my own. It preaches that people go on living until they've outgrown their usefulness. Then they die. From one cause or another. When that time comes, the desire to live is gone. And only desire keeps the body alive and breathing.
I don't understand that.
No, I'm sorry.
Miss Haskell, do you live alone here?
Yes.
No relatives? No housekeeper?
No, I live alone here.
Pretty large house for a person living alone.
Yes, there are 3 floors and far too many rooms. It's on the outskirts of town, and it's quiet. And it gives me the privacy I've been looking for. The privacy which you are invading for the first time since I moved here 5 years ago.
Sorry, Miss Haskell, I'm only doing my job. I was told to look you up and find out why you bought that casket.
Then I think we may assume your job is over.
I guess so. But the office might ask me to drop back once in a while, just to keep in touch.
I won't be at home.
Why? You don't go out very much. Folks in the town say they don't even see you more than once a week, maybe.
When you come, I won't be at home.
All right. Sorry to bother you.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, Miss Haskell, how are you going to die?
I don't know. Nor do I consider it important. Why should you?
Good night.
Ellie, what are you doing down here? What are you doing sitting on the steps in the dark?
Lydia?
Haven't I told you never to come down here at night?
Lydia?
Well, what do you want?
I heard that man who was here. Lydia, why did you buy the casket? Why are you going to die? You mustn't, Lydia. You mustn't die. I'd be alone if you died. And you know what would happen? They'd send me away like they did once before. The people in the town would come and find me living here, and they'd send me away.
Go up to bed, Ellie, and go to sleep.
How can I sleep? Oh, Lydia, you won't die. Promise me you won't.
I promise you. Now go to bed.
But why did you buy the casket? And the things you said to that man as if you wanted to die. Why, Lydia? Why do you want to die? I don't want to die. No one does.
No, you have such a lot to live for, haven't you, Ellie?
Yes? I've been happy, Lydia. You've made me happy. And someday when I'm well again, I'll go back home, and David will be waiting for me. You know he'll be there. You've always told me to be waiting. And he'll see that I'm well again, and he'll take me back. I'm not so old, am I? David won't see me as old. He told me that when I was well, no matter how long it took, he'd still see me as a young girl. That's why I've been happy, just waiting for the time I can go back to David.
Ellie, haven't you learned yet? Don't you know yet that you're mad? And that you'll always be mad?
No, don't say that. I'm getting better, Lydia. You know I'm getting better.
Yes. Putting bows in your hair, sewing ribbons all day long, sneaking about the house at night and spying on me, singing the same hymn over and over and over until I think I'm going mad, too.
Is that why you want to die, to get away from me? I thought you loved me, Lydia.
Why should I love you? Look what life has given me and tell me why. You've always spoiled everything for me, Ellie, even from the time we were children.
How could I spoil everything? We were just like the same child, Lydia. Twins. You were I and I was you.
We looked the same, yes. We were born on the same day, yes. And that's where it ended. You were the nice one. I used to hear them say so. You were even the prettiest, they said. As if they could see any difference between us. Whatever you wanted, you had. You smiled so beautifully. But I never smiled. I was the sullen one, the dark cloud in the house.
You made it so, Lydia. We all loved you.
When a doll was broken, they gave you mine. When you tore your dancing dress, you take mine.
You gave it to me, Lydia. I remember you gave it to me.
Ellie, I've always given things to you. I gave you the best of everything we had. I've given you my whole life. I even gave you David.
Lydia, you're in love with David. He came to our house. Was it you he came to see? Oh, Lydia, I didn't know.
No, you never knew. No one did. I had to stand by and watch you take him from me. When you had your first attack, I was glad. People said what a shame it was. But I was very glad.
Lydia.
Because I knew then that he could never have you. Oh, yes, you were going to be cured and he was going to wait. It won't matter how long he waits. You'll never be cured and he'll never have you. Never.
You've always hated me. I see it now, even when you've been taking care of me. When we came to this town, you didn't bring me here so I'd be cured. You wanted to keep me this way. Mad. That's why you took me out of that place, because they might have made me well again.
Go upstairs.
You hate me, and now you're going to die and leave me without anyone.
I told you I'm not going to die. Oh, Ellie. Ellie, dear, I'm sorry we've had this quarrel. I didn't mean to upset you. It's just that I'm upset myself. Tired. I didn't mean the things I said.
You bought a casket.
But it was only an idea I had in case anything ever happened.
You bought a casket, Lydia. Was it for yourself or is it for me?
Ellie.
You wouldn't, would you, Lydia?
What are you talking about?
Hold the lamp up. Hold it closer. I want to see your face.
Ellie, go off to bed.
Yes, I can see it in your eyes. It is for me. You're going to kill me. You're going to murder me.
Don't be a fool, Ellie.
It's true. You want to get rid of me because you hate me. Oh, now I see. I see you love David. You're going to kill me and they'll come and find me and bury me and they'll think it's you.
Be quiet.
They'll think it's you who is dead because no one knows I'm living here, and then you'll go away. You'll go back to David and you'll say that Lydia has died and he'll think you're me and that you're well again. And he'll marry you. You'll have him. You'll be Ellie. You'll have David in my place.
Ellie, did you hear what I said? Be quiet. Now go upstairs and get to bed.
Oh, Lydia. Lydia, how can you be so wicked?
Ellie, are you awake? Ellie, dear. Oh, you mustn't think any more about what we said tonight. Do you hear? Because it's not so, Ellie. Just your imagination. You mustn't think about it. It'll be bad for you. Are you asleep, Ellie? She's not asleep. She's lying over there on the other side of the room, staring at me through the dark. She knows it was the truth tonight. She's going to die and that I'm going to kill her. Quarrel. Should have let her know. I lost my temper. Stupid. I must think clearly. How am I going to kill her? It mustn't look like murder. They'll suspect me then. No, it must be suicide. How? When? It has to be soon now that she knows. Singing again, that hymn. Hymn. Oh, I must be calm. I mustn't get excited. Think clearly. How am I going to kill her? Oh, I wish it were over. I could go back then. Back to David. Quickly she saw through that, but I'd go back in her place. But he'll never suspect. So I'll be Ellie to him. Ellie, cured and happy again. I'll learn to smile. She must die. How? There. Stairwell. She gets dizzy if she looks down into the stairwell. Yes, it could be so easy. Of course. In a day or two, that policeman will come back to the house. They'll find her, and they'll think it's me. The stairwell. 3 floors from the attic here. 3 floors straight down. So easy when you think clearly. The stairwell, of course. Ellie, dear. Ellie, you mustn't cry. Do you hear me? Are you afraid of the dark, dear? Well, I'll light the lamp for you. There, dear. That's better, isn't it? Why, you're shivering. You cold? Come, put your wrapper on, and we'll go down to the parlor and light a fire. And I'll make you a nice cup of hot milk. Come along, Ellie. Ellie, stop acting like this. Now come, dear. There. Here's your wrapper. Put it around your shoulders. That's the girl. Get up now. I'll carry the lamp. Give me your hand, dear. Why, you're as cold as ice. Now be careful. Walk slowly. There we are. Now hold on to the banister, dear. That's right. I'll hold the lamp up high so that you can see better.
I'm afraid. The stairwell.
It's right here, dear. You see?
I'm afraid.
Ellie, you must get over that fear. Look, Ellie. Just look down. There's nothing to frighten you. Look down the stairwell, Ellie.
No.
I'm holding you, dear. Just lean over and look down. You can see all the way.
No, don't make me look. Don't make me.
You see, it's nothing, is it? Nothing at all. Oh, you did it, dear. Well, I'm holding you.
Let me go. I can't stand it.
Come closer,
No.
dear. Closer,
No.
Ellie. Lean over.
No.
Just lean over. Do you hear, Ellie?
Let me get back.
Look, Ellie.
No.
Look down.
No.
Now, Ellie.
Let me
Now,
go.
Ellie.
Let me go.
Lean over. Look down, Ellie. Look down.
It was brought to my mind, of course, because this is the house just here, the next one we're coming to. Yes, he was in to see us just a few days ago. Came in to order the casket. She saw a casket she wanted, then she told me it was for herself.
Oh. She must have had a premonition.
Yes. I notified the police, of course. Said she wanted me to hold the casket 3 weeks. Then, just the day before yesterday, the police came back to the house here and found her lying at the bottom of the stairwell, dead. She'd been dead about 2 days.
Oh. Funny how she knew.
The banister up on the attic floor broke away and she fell.
She have any people?
No, lived alone, they tell me. We're going to bury her tomorrow. Haskell, her name was.
Haskell. That's strange. Living all by herself here in a big 3-story frame house.
Yes, isn't it?
Hey,
What is it?
my imagination, I guess. I could have sworn I saw a light in the attic window just now.
Well, it couldn't have been. The police have shut it up.
Of course. That story of yours really gave me the creeps. Well, let's walk out.
It's a queer thing, the power of suggestion. You've conveyed it to me, of course. You know, just now, I thought I could hear someone upstairs in there. A woman. A woman singing.
A woman?
Yes. Sort of crooning to herself. Some kind of a hymn.
So closes The Sisters, presented by Roma Wines, and starring Ida Lupino and Agnes Moorehead. Tonight's tale of Suspense.
In just a moment, we'll hear again from Miss Lupino. In the meantime, here's a true-life suspense drama. Your guests raise their wine glasses to their lips. Your reputation as a host hangs in the balance. Will they approve the wine of your selection? Well, no need to feel the least bit concerned if you've elected to serve any of Roma Wine's many different types of taste-delighting California wines. Perhaps the tangy, appetizing Roma Sherry, or the richly satisfying Roma Burgundy, or the delicately delicious Roma Sauterne. And notwithstanding, your cost for any of these good Roma wines is only pennies a glass. Your guest's verdict is sure to agree with this verdict of wine connoisseurs of many lands.
Roma wines son verdaderamente magníficos.
Roma wines are vraiment magnifiques.
Roma wines are truly magnificent. Let me repeat the name, please. R-O-M-A. Roma wine. Made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is Ida Lupino. It is my sincere hope that you enjoyed our suspense play this evening. Miss Moorehead and I trust you will join us in listening to Suspense next week, when Charles Ruggles is your star. One more word. Remember, Americans, this is the critical year of the war, calling for more of everything to win. You answer the call when you buy more war bonds.
Miss Lupino will soon be seen in the Warner Brothers picture In Our Time. Suspense is produced and directed by William Spear. Tonight's play was written by George Wells. Don't forget, then, next Thursday, same time, Charles Ruggles will star in Suspense.
By Roma Wine, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Suspense. Tonight, transcribed, Autolite brings you Joan Crawford in The 10 Years, a suspense play produced and directed by Anton M. Leader. And now, Autolite presents Joan Crawford in a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Everyone is so good to me. I like being here. But some of the others don't, I guess. Do you hear? They scream sometimes like that in the night. Maybe they scream because they remember things. But I remember things, too. Especially when people come out from town to see me, to bring me things. But there's nothing that I want. They can't bring back my sister. My beautiful sister Adele. They came today. And with them they brought back memories of Adele. When we were children. The night that Mother died. The night we made the promise.
Don't cry anymore, Adele.
I'm afraid, Clara. We're alone.
We're not alone.
But if something happened to you...
Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm going to take care of you.
But that's what Mother said. And now she's left us, too.
But, Adele, Mother didn't know that she wouldn't have left us if she could have helped us.
Promise me you won't die, Clara. And that whatever I do, you'll do. And that you'll never leave me.
I promise.
And we'll be together always and forever.
Always and forever. I promise.
And for years I've kept that promise. Adele and I were as close as anyone could be. We had few friends, but I didn't mind as long as she was happy. But sometimes I was frightened at the way she clung to me after we were grown. I was afraid of what would happen to her in case anything ever happened to me. And then something did happen. I met Douglas Foley. Adele liked him until she realized that I'd fallen in love with him. Then she hated him in a childish, vicious way. He tried to win her over, but it was no good. And then he asked me to marry him. And I said yes. That night, after he'd gone, Adele was waiting for me in my room. Adele?
Clara! Douglas told me.
Adele, you're so white. You're ill.
But you promised me.
But Adele, I'm not leaving you. You're going to live with us.
No, it won't be the same. You promised always and forever.
But we were children, Adele.
You promised we'd be together always and forever.
Adele, you see,
Clara, if you marry him, I'll never speak to you again.
But we were married, and we believed that Adele would forgive us in time. But she didn't. She refused to see us, and letters went unanswered. Then when we learned that my husband's new job was to take us to Europe, our first thought was of Adele. If she would only go with us. But when we drove to her house, she refused even to come to the door, and we were forced to sail without her. My son, Doug, was born in Europe, and I wrote Adele a long letter telling her about him. But the letter was returned unopened. When Doug was just 10, we returned to America. I went directly from the station to Adele's house. She was working in the garden when we drove up. I was shocked at her appearance. Her hair had turned almost white, and there was a strange look about her. I sent Doug to the gate to introduce himself. She looked at him in a puzzled manner. Then she saw us sitting in the car, and she turned and walked into the house. The next thing I remember was that day 1 month after my return home when I was put on trial for murder. For my husband's murder.
Mrs. Foley, will you tell us again what happened the night of your husband's murder?
My husband was working in the garden all day. When it began to grow dark, I called him in. But he insisted that he had something to finish. I called him several times after that, and then I became irritated and I gave up. I had my dinner alone, and I went up to my bedroom.
Then you do admit that you quarreled with him the night of the murder?
We didn't quarrel. I was irritated, but I said nothing to my husband.
I see. Your husband's death was caused by a deep, narrow wound in the vicinity of the heart. It is the opinion of this court that the instrument used might have been an ice pick. Mrs. Foley, have you any other ideas as to what might have inflicted this wound?
No.
Had your husband any enemies, Mrs. Foley?
No. So I was acquitted that day because of insufficient evidence. I thought Adele would come to see me during those awful days, but she didn't. I saw her in the courtroom, but she never looked my way. I believe it was about 2 months after the trial that my son and his friend Roy went on an all-day hiking trip to the beach. They were late getting back. It was almost dark when I saw Roy coming up the street. He was alone, and he was running.
Mrs. Foley! Mrs. Foley!
Oh, where's Doug?
She's down at the beach. With her.
With whom?
Your sister.
My sister? Oh, for heaven's sake, Roy, will you tell me what this is all about?
Well, you see, Mrs. Foley, Doug and I went down to the beach.
It seemed that Roy and Doug had forgotten to take along their drinking water, and they hadn't missed it until they'd come to a very deserted strip of the beach.
Maybe we can get some water at that little house over there. Funny place for a house, isn't it? Yeah. Come on. Looks like nobody lives here. All the better. We can just drink out that faucet in the yard. We won't have to ask nobody. Come on. Sure run down, ain't it? Maybe the faucet isn't working. The garden's all dead. Sure it's working, see? Someone's just plain lazy then. Or maybe no one lives here. Well, sure they do. There's a mailbox. Hey, maybe there's a name on it. Look. Miss Adele Norris. That's Mom's sister. Yeah? Well, let's drop in and see her. She wouldn't even know who I was. You could tell her, couldn't you? Say, maybe she'd give us some cake or something. No. She's mad at me and Mom. Come on, let's get out of here.
Hey, Doc. Look at all those dead leaves on the porch. Let's have a look around.
No, she might come out.
Oh, she can't hurt you, can she? Let's peek in the window.
No, Roy.
Look, Doug. The place is all upset. It's all dirty and everything. Let's look in the rest of the windows. There's no one around. Here's the kitchen. Hey, look at all the dirty dishes piled up.
Say, maybe my Aunt's sick.
Look. Someone's coming to the window. Oh!
What do you want? We wanted to see if you were all right.
Go away.
Don't you recognize me?
No.
Are you sick?
No.
I'm your nephew, Douglas Foley.
Go away, whoever you are.
I'd like to help you.
Go away, I said.
Mother wouldn't want me to leave you here like this.
Who is your mother?
I told you. Don't you remember? She's your sister.
I have no sister. My sister died when I was 18.
Roy, go home and get my mother. My aunt's sick. I'll climb through this window, and I'll see if there's anything I can do.
You stay out of this house. Doug, let's both go. She doesn't want you here.
She's sick. You go for my mother, and hurry.
If you come into this house, you'll be sorry. If you dared.
Did you say your name is Douglas Foley? Yes, that's right.
Douglas Foley is dead. Forever and ever.
No, don't you see? The one who died was my...
Douglas Foley became between two sisters. And then he died.
Yeah, but I'm trying to tell you. My mother and
but
you...
But if he isn't dead, then I guess he'll have to die again. That's it. Yes. You'll have to die again. You'll have to die again. You'll have
to... You're sick. You need help.
I'm sick?
Yes. Don't you want me to come in?
Yes. Come in. Douglas Foley?
For Suspense, Autolite is bringing you Joan Crawford in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. And now, Autolite brings back to a Hollywood soundstage Miss Joan Crawford as Clara in The 10 Years by Mel Dinelli. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
You see how clearly I remember things. I remember so well the horror of that moment when Doug's little friend finished telling me how he had left Doug there alone with my sister Adele. And I even remember what Roy said at the end.
So I came back to tell you, Mrs. Foley, on account of Doug made me. Now I wish I hadn't left him there with her. I know she's your sister and all, but I saw her face when she came to the window. She looked awful, Mrs. Foley. She looked awful crazy.
I followed Roy's directions, and I went by foot north along the ocean. I must have walked a good mile before I came to the house. The front door was standing open. There was a lamp burning on the table. Adele. She lay on the bed. I couldn't see her very clearly by the candlelight, but I could see that she was fully dressed. Her hair was undone, and it spilled down over the pillow. For a moment, I thought she was dead.
What do you want?
Adele.
What do you want?
It's me, Clara. Where's Douglas?
He's dead.
Adele!
Your husband is dead.
I don't mean my husband. I mean my son. Where is he?
He was murdered with a long shot.
Be still. You don't know what you're saying. Where is my son?
I haven't seen him.
You have. He was here. I know that.
I haven't seen him.
Yes, you have. Try and remember. Where is he?
I don't know.
Yes, you do know. What have you done to him?
Was he your son?
Yes, Adele. Please.
I hated him.
I know. Where is he, Adele?
He went away.
Where? Where did he go?
He went to the village for a doctor.
Are you telling me the truth?
Yes.
How long ago did he leave?
I don't remember.
Will you stop questioning me? Can't you see that I'm sick? I tell you he went for a doctor. Why do you come here, Clara? After 10 years.
I've come to help you.
I don't need your help.
Adele, did Doug really go for the doctor?
You think I'm lying?
I don't know. But if he isn't back soon, I'm going for the police.
The police? Those fat fools. I'm so sick, Clara.
Oh, I know. I'm going to take your things off, Adele. You'll be more comfortable. Then when the doctor comes, if he comes...
Don't you touch me!
You're sick, Adele. Let me take your things off.
No! Can't you leave me alone? Leave me alone! How do you know what's good for me after all these years? I'm in pain, Clara. I have a heavy pain here by my heart. When I'm tightly laced, I can almost bear it.
All right, darling. We'll leave it till the doctor comes.
Will the doctor help me, Clara?
Of course he will.
Douglas Foley came between two sisters.
Oh, Adele.
He worked in the garden, bending down low.
I'm so tired, Clara.
I know. Try and rest, Adele. Close your eyes.
He was working in the garden, and I was on my way home. I saw him there, Clara. He looked the same after 10 years, because he had your strength to draw from. But I was alone. I had grown old, and he had stayed young.
And then she seemed to doze off. Her breathing was so labored. And I thought, perhaps she'll rest more easily if I undress her. And I went over to the bed. She was wearing a corset. I reached over and I began to unhook it. She started mumbling something in her sleep.
You broke your promise. Always and forever, you had said.
But she didn't wake up.
Always.
I finally managed to take her corset off. But as I went to place it on a chair, I noticed something sticking out of the material. At first I thought it was a broken stay, but it was round, and one end was sharp. I looked closer. It was a steel knitting needle. A long steel one. And there was rust on it. Or was that brown stain rust? Adele had concealed a knitting needle, and there was proof of what I guess I'd always known, that Adele had murdered my husband. I dropped the needle to the floor. Then something caught my eye. There was a hand sticking out from beneath the bed. It was white and still. It was the child's hand. I fell to my knees. Oh, Doug! Doug! And just as I reached out for him, I felt a sharp blow on the back of my head. And I fell unconscious. I dreamed that Adele and I were children again, that she was laughing, and we were playing an old game of ours where we tied each other up with our bathrobe cords. And then we waited for a knight in armor to rescue us. And then I think it was the odor of kerosene that brought me to. The room was filled with it. Oh, my head was pounding. I couldn't seem to focus my eyes. I tried to raise myself to my feet, but I couldn't seem to move my arms, my legs. Suddenly, I realized why. I was tied with a bathrobe cord. I was a child again. Adele and I were playing our games again. My husband and everything that had happened between Adele and me had been nothing but a bad dream. Oh, a feeling of relief swept over me. Suddenly, I heard footsteps, and the door creaked slowly open. And then I knew that what had happened had not been a dream. For Adele stood there in the doorway. Not Adele, the child who would rescue me, but Adele with gray hair who hadn't spoken to me for all those years. She wore a long dressing gown. She was barefoot, her long hair streaming about her shoulders. And there was a vacant, stupid smile on her face. She carried a bucket in her hand, and the odor of kerosene filled the room. She didn't seem to notice me as she went past me. She threw the liquid from the bucket onto the bed. Adele! No, Adele! But she paid no attention to me as she left the room again. I struggled wildly, but it was no use. Oh, I was tied securely, and I saw a still figure on the bed. It was Doug. Oh, his face was so white. He was unconscious, and there was a deep gash at the side of his head. And then Adele came back into the room. She had filled a bucket to the brim, and she walked toward the bed again.
Clara?
Adele, untie me.
Untie you? Why?
Adele, listen to me.
This is your son, Clara.
Yes, Adele, untie me.
We were looking for him. And he was here all the time.
Please, untie me, Adele.
I never knew your son. For years, I never knew him. How old is he, Clara?
He's only 10. He's just a boy. Adele, you're sick. Untie me and we'll go for a doctor.
You want me to be well, Clara?
Yes, untie me.
Are we friends again, Clara?
Yes, we're friends. I want to help you.
But I can't forget the 10 years, Clara. I must wash those years away before we can really be friends again.
Don't forget those years. Let me help you. Untie me.
No. We can't forget them, Clara. We must wash them away. That's what I was doing. I was washing away the years. Your husband's gone. Your son is all that remains of him. Then we can be sisters again.
You don't know what you're doing. Untie me, Adele.
But this isn't water that I have in this drink.
No, you see, you're sick.
What I put into the lamps to make them burn.
No!
I could burn away the years.
Oh!
That would be better.
Oh,
much better.
No, Adele, for the love of heaven, untie me.
Burn away these years that remain on the bed.
No, Adele.
I could do that with this candle. Then you and I could really be friends again. Like when Mother was alive. We could be sisters again. Always and forever.
We're sisters now, Adele.
You're lying. We're not sisters.
Adele, listen to me. We're children. And you've tied me with this cord, and now you must untie me, like you used to do when you left me too long and I cried.
You're lying. We're not sisters, and we haven't been for years. And now I'm going to punish you for lying, just as Mother used to punish us when we were children.
Then she started walking unsteadily toward me, a lighted candle in one hand, the bucket in the other. The liquid slopping over her dressing gown as she walked.
Anna, do you remember the time Mother washed out my mouth with soap when she caught me in a fib? That's what I'm going to do to you now. Or perhaps it would be better if I burned you. No! Screaming, Clara. Waken your precious son. We mustn't wake him.
Adele, untie me. I promise you that I'll take Doug and we'll go away. You'll never have to see us again.
No, Clara.
And she kept moving towards me, holding the lighted candle close to her breast.
You mustn't ever lie to me again, Clara.
Adele, you're ill. You don't know what you're doing.
Wash away the years. Burn away the years.
Oh, suddenly, I saw a tiny flicker of flame on her breast. The fully dressed gown, she'd held the candle too close. Her entire dressing gown was a mass of flames that spread swiftly to her hair. In a moment, she was a blazing torch. And the odor of burning filled the room. I could see her face, surprised and contorted with pain. She turned and looked towards the bed a second, the bucket flaming in her hand. But then she went screaming out the door and towards the street.
Mrs. Foley.
Yes?
You mustn't scream like that.
I wasn't screaming. That was my sister, Adele.
Yes, I know. Try not to think about it, Mrs. Foley.
You knew my sister was burned to death, didn't you, Mrs. Willard? Oh, she was so very beautiful.
Yes, I know. Try and rest. Is there anything I can get you before I go to bed?
No, thank you.
Well, go to sleep then.
I will. Good night.
Good night, and pleasant dreams.
Was that my sister, Mrs. Willard?
No, Mrs. Foley. It's one of the others.
Oh. They scream because they remember things.
Yes, I suppose they do. Good night.
Good night. I remember things, too. I remember.
Promise me you'll never leave me, Clara. And that whatever I do, you'll do. I promise. Always and forever.
Always and forever. I promise.
Thank you, Joan Crawford, for a magnificent performance. Now here again is Miss Crawford.
I want to thank Tony Leader and his wonderful cast of actors, especially Lorene Tuttle, who played my sister, for helping me to make my appearance on Suspense so very pleasant. Like all of you, I am a great Suspense fan, and I'm looking forward to hearing next week's story. It's another gripping study in
Suspense.
that's our show for tonight. I want to thank you all for listening. And remember, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/terror1970, or you can find me on Instagram at Radio Show Nerd. And if you want to drop me a line, say hello, make a request, a suggestion, even a critique, respectfully, please feel free to email me at radioshownerd@gmail.com. I also have a YouTube channel, obviously entitled Terror Radio. Please check it out. Subscribe. Share and like the videos. Will be highly appreciated. Wow, it is so good to be back. This is your host, Keith, better known as the Radio Show Nerd, signing off.